For several months, the Empire of Japan has evaded any kind of major clashes with the American fleet. But the US Navy has finally managed to catch one of the Japanese battle groups. The Arizona and the Pennsylvania, with their escorts, have caught up just off the coast of Japan with a group that was trying to relocate within the confines of their minefields. And we are facing a veritable foe this time around. The cruiser clashes that we've had so far were just sideshows, small fry skirmishes, if you will. But now we are facing a fleet that we have some information on, and that actually outguns us by a fair margin. The Arizona and the Pennsylvania are up against the Huo, a Choyo-class battleship, which is larger than both of the American battleships and carries 5 triple 14.4-inch gun batteries, 2 battle cruisers, the Notoro, the lead ship of her class, which actually carries a larger gun armament, but not quite as many of it, with 10 15.5-inch guns, the Warusawa, her sister ship, with the same armament, as well as 2 heavy cruisers of the Azuma class with 10.1-inch guns, a group of light cruisers, and a veritable fleet of destroyers. Taking this fight is risky, but we're here to end this war and to put down Japanese attempts at dominance in the Pacific. So it is time for Arizona and Pennsylvania to show what they can do. And we're actually starting the battle right off the bat. So we've got Arizona and Pennsylvania in the center. We've got the Cabot on screening duty, which I am going to change. So the Cabot is going to go into a battle line. So we've got Cabot and Oakland, our light cruisers, And hopefully their job is mostly going to be trying to deal with the destroyers, to be honest. And we have the San Francisco, the heavy cruiser. She is probably going to... In fact, I'm going to join... I'm going to try and join these battle lines. So let's see. San Francisco, and here we have... no, these are the big ones. Here we have Cabot and Oakland. We're going to get them to join this group with San Francisco in the lead. And these three are going to try and clear out as much as possible of the enemy destroyers. And we've got 2 destroyers of our own on screening. In fact, given that 2 destroyers are not going to do an awful lot, what I will try is I will try to saturate the area with torpedoes as much as we have. We do have who do we have in the destroyer group? We have the Farragut, and we've got the Little. So we will see. We'll see what they can do with their 5-inch guns and with their torpedo loadout. So we're going to get these guys onto their own battle line, and they will try to effectively flank. Given that these are the only torpedo-armed ships, that's not quite correct. The light cruisers have torpedoes as well. Well, we'll get the San Francisco and her group to take the left. We'll get the destroyers to take the right, and we're going to get the 2 battleships to sort of try and hang back a little bit and engage the enemy main fleet at long-range engagements. My biggest problem is going to be the sheer mass of enemy destroyers, so I definitely don't want the Pennsylvania and the Arizona to be involved in that. So usually we get a little bit more warning, but it looks like the Japanese have snuck up on us. So Pennsylvania turn, and the cruisers are going to have to try and organize themselves as best as they can. Obviously, the Japanese have a screening formation around their ships, so we'll get the cruisers. We'll get the cruisers to hang back to port, and we'll get the not too much though, because we do need to make sure that that we leave the battleships in a defended position. So we're going to get the Farragut and the Little to take a course on the other side, see if they can drop some torpedoes, and then see what we can do. We are going to reduce the speed of the cruiser group to 25 knots. And there was almost a little collision between the Arizona and the Little, but I think they have sorted that out. Definitely do not want to get the battle line in close range engagements with the enemy destroyers, because these 2 are going to have their hands full with the enemy heavy hitters. But we'll see where the Japanese are going, and if they are ready to engage or not. For now, we're just raining some long-range fire, and once we have, what do we have on the spotting? These look like large warships. So these got the twins. These are the battle cruisers, or the twin 15 inches. And what else have we spotted? We've got a couple of these, maybe the heavy cruisers. That looks like a heavy cruiser layout. Everything in the Japanese fleet is probably having torpedoes, so we do have to be definitely careful here, and especially with the cruisers, that we are not running into everything, but just skirt the area and see what we can do. In fact, I'm almost thinking to get the San Francisco back to pair up with the battle line, but right now we've got the big guns opening up. Okay, the destroyers are rushing in, are starting to take fire, so we are going to smoke up. I would like them to just target the slow movers. get their torpedoes ready at long range, because there are so many here. There's so many enemy ships that I can't really miss them, and run at full speed. Just don't get too close to the cruisers, because yes, ow, the Farragut's taken a hit from one of the 10-inch guns. So definitely have to be careful here that the destroyers are... we'll just want to get the torpedoes away, and then we are going to disengage with the destroyers while the battle line is heading the other way. And San Francisco's group is taking fire as well from the other side, so we may have to stay a little bit further away. I just want to make sure that they are screening the battleships, and we'll see if the destroyers can make anything happen with these torpedo drops just at the bulk of the enemy that's over there. The enemy's got 2 cruisers, I think. These were 2 cruisers. This could be the 2 heavy cruisers. Yeah, these look like the 2 heavy cruisers are sailing out to intercept the destroyers. So we're definitely going to be disengaging with the destroyers here. And Arizona and Pennsylvania are opening up at the heavy cruisers, but at this range it's not a great chance for them to hit anything. We do have to be careful with San Francisco and the light cruisers, so that they are not getting into position where they are getting shot at by the enemy's big guns. So we do want the Pennsylvania and the Arizona, if possible, to take the brunt of the load. And I'm going to get these 2 to focus on... this is one of the battle cruisers. I'm not sure if we've spotted the battleship yet, because everything here is smoked up. I think the battleship had triple guns. That could be... That's her. Okay, so that's the battleship, and the following 2 are the battle cruisers. So we're going to get the heavy hitters to focus on the trailing battle cruiser, and we're going to get the cruisers to see if they can manage to get shots at any of the the enemy screening ships, if they can make their way out. And the destroyers have retreated, but I think our torpedoes have missed or haven't arrived yet. No, I think we've got torpedo hits. Yeah, we've managed to get 2 torpedo hits on something. There's still a couple more torpedoes out in the water. So definitely not a bad start for us. I'm going to slow down a little bit more with the San Francisco, because they are running a little far ahead now. And have we landed a... Oh, we landed a dud torpedo. That's unfortunate. So, nope, that was another torpedo hit. Somewhere on one of the... I think on the battleship. I think she's taken a torpedo hit. Yes. Perfect. Oh, and a flash fire. So, the torpedo hit... I'm not sure if it was the Farragut, but the torpedo hit has ignited the enemy battleship's stern magazines. She must have taken a torpedo in the rear. So if they cannot contain that flash fire, then this is going to be really bad for the enemy battleship. But we'll see what they can do about this. We'll see how good their damage control is. That does not look good. She's going down. The enemy battleship has taken a single torpedo hit, which has ignited her aft magazines, and that has managed to completely obliterate that enemy battleship. In that case, I'm going to start focusing on the heavy cruiser, and we'll see if we can... Where are my destroyers? Destroyers can start... They're still reloading torpedoes, so they'll just sail around, and the cruiser line is now starting to take fire. Oh, what? We've got a couple of hits with 14-inch guns. That must have been on the heavy cruisers. I'm not even sure I see them. Oh, they are the heavy cruisers. Okay, we have No, actually. Have they changed targets? No, they shouldn't have changed targets. So they will engage the heavy cruisers that are rushing in. And the other cruisers are going to, well, that's a lot of small ships here, are going to start targeting the torpedo threats. So I want that line to start targeting. Don't drop your own torpedoes just yet. Just start targeting this. I think it's a light cruiser. And the battleships are dealing with the enemy heavy cruisers quite well. We have taken a hit on the Arizona, but it was only a 7-inch gun, so it's not going to do anything major. We just have to make sure we're keeping our distance from the main battle line. We might have to switch targets, but these heavy cruisers look like they are engaging, and so far we haven't landed anything yet. Something else has sunk due to flooding, but we don't know what it was, because that must have been from our initial torpedo hits. So these have been very, very successful. Well done, Little and Farragut. We'll have to check later whose torpedoes those actually were. But we're getting a little clearer picture here of the enemy destroyer groups. So we'll start with San Francisco's group to turn away, and we might launch some torpedoes from the Cabot and the Oakland. And we'll start targeting the enemy destroyers and wear them down. So let's do that. And the friendly destroyers are still. We'll leave their torpedoes off for now. What's my main line doing? Is still engaging the heavy cruisers in a long-range battle. They might have to switch their focus to whatever that is, because that cruiser looks like. That is, I think, one of their. It's either a destroyer. That could be a destroyer or a light cruiser. So let's get that out of the water, because she is clearly trying to engage the friendly battle line. We'll get the destroyers to swing around, while the cruisers are dealing with the rest of the enemy destroyer line. And we might speed up a little bit. Just so we don't get overrun by the destroyers, but they might have torpedoes away actually, because they seem to be disengaging. So, okay, shift focus on that. Battleships are engaging an incoming destroyer, I think. In fact, they can do this with the secondaries. We're going to get their main guns to focus on. Gosh, that is a lot of ships. These might all be destroyers, so I don't know how many torpedoes are going to be coming here, but it's going to be a lot. So we will disengage with the battleships somewhat. Get the friendly destroyers to. We're getting surrounded here, which I'm not a fan of. But we'll get the friendly destroyers to run the screening duty and take on this destroyer that is coming our way here. And if the battleships can land a good hit, then that should end these pretty soon as well. There come the enemy torpedoes, and I think we're going to have to turn the cruiser group around. Something has sunk. So that thing sunk. In that case. We haven't really identified an awful lot yet, but I think the heavies are disengaging the enemy heavies. So I might actually get the battleships to take on the heavy cruisers again. It's not their best angle, however, so maybe we'll take this one instead. Okay, cruiser group is disengaging. And we might just aggressively drop our torpedoes at this point, just into the bulk there. I don't want to run the cruisers. I don't want to run the risk of the cruisers of running into anything big. That said, we do have to. We seem to have dodged most of the torpedoes. There are some more torpedoes incoming. They were clearly aimed at the battleships. Not sure if they pose a threat, but I'm going to turn the battle group around and get them to engage those heavy cruisers. Okay, the destroyer group is getting a little far away. so we'll turn them around while they're still reloading their torpedoes, and we'll get the. We do have to be careful with the San Francisco's group, because we can't really turn to starboard just yet, because there's a spread of torpedoes coming in. So for now, they're just going to keep engaging the relatively unsuccessfully, unfortunately, the enemy destroyers, who seem to be disengaging. So I think now might be a good time to turn. That was a destroyer hit. No, that was a 14-inch hit on one of the heavy cruisers. So we'll get the group to swing around and to start to try to peel off these two heavy cruisers that are threatening our flank. San Francisco, no, there are even more torpedoes in the water. Yes, there are even more torpedoes in the water. So San Francisco hard to port again. And just avoid the torpedoes and straighten her out. I think we are safe from torpedoes at this point. And then follow the battle group and keep targeting these destroyers if they come after us. In fact, we can get San Francisco herself to target this destroyer, and we can get the two light cruisers, who are not effective at this range, to target the Hagikaze, which appears to be giving chase at this point, whereas the battleships are turning around to get into a better position to fire at the heavy cruisers. And we're currently targeting the Aka, and we'll get the destroyer group to, well, they're not yet quite reloaded, but we'll get them to scout ahead a little bit more and get us some clearer target. It looks like after the loss of the Howo, the enemy battle cruisers are disengaging. They are steaming quickly away north. So it looks like they're sacrificing their screens in order to get away, which is quite surprising. The destroyers are still charging, but at this range it's going to be quite difficult for our group to hit them. So let's see if the Pennsylvania and the Arizona can cross the T of these heavy cruisers. Now these are Japanese heavy cruisers, so they have lots of torpedoes. We do have to be careful with that. In fact, we might focus our fire for now, given that at least on the San Francisco, we'll start targeting the Aka as well. And the destroyer group, it's not yet quite reloaded, but we'll see if we can try some more torpedo runs against the enemy destroyer group. Pennsylvania is starting to get the range on this heavy cruiser, and I think the enemy destroyer group seems to have disengaged mostly, and it's only the heavy cruisers that are charging us. In that case, can we get all the fire please focused on the heavy cruisers, and we'll see if we get Oakland and Cabot to lay smoke, and we can see if they can get their torpedoes away. Though I would like those two actually. That's fine. The battleship's already targeting the other heavy cruiser. San Francisco is targeting her. She is having steering problems, and she is flooding, and the two battleships are targeting them as well. We're going to get the cruiser group to accelerate to flank speed. Have the light cruisers have not. Okay, the Cabot has launched her torpedoes. The Oakland hasn't launched yet, but we'll see if we hit anything. Where are my destroyers? Destroyers are screening towards the other side. Let's get them around, and we'll see if we can deal with that pace with the Aka. 10-inch guns is nothing to underestimate, even for something like the San Francisco. I'm not sure where my torpedoes went, but we'll see if we can We'll see if we can do enough damage. Definitely Pennsylvania and Arizona are sort of in demand here, and yeah, the Aka is flooding and looks damaged. The second heavy cruiser, it's the Chokai. She is coming in probably for a torpedo run as well. This is the Japanese. Battle doctrine after all. So we'll get the San Francisco's group to start turning, because it looks like the Aka is trying to disengage. Let's get them to focus on that. And the two battleships are currently engaging, I believe, the Chokai. Or are they trying to finish off the Aka as well? It could be they're trying to finish off the Aka as well. The Oakland still hasn't fired her torpedoes. Probably did not get an angle, but I've got the fleet mostly together again at this point. So Farragut and Little get back to the fleet. They are reloaded with the torpedoes, so we can do something daring with the destroyers as well. San Francisco is now crossing the T on the Chokai. The Aka is coming around again as well. So we will steam ahead and see if we can get in a position where we can make something happen. And obviously Pennsylvania and Arizona are in here still as well. Although we do need to slightly turn in case these guys are dropping torpedoes on us. As that looks like a larger group is now trying to charge us, mostly consisting of the cruisers and some of the destroyers. So let's see if the American cruisers can finish them off. Right now the distance is still probably a little bit large, especially for the light cruisers is relatively risky. But Oakland might be able to get some torpedoes away. So if she can. Cabot is still reloading, and the battleships are... Okay, we are starting to score some hits, and I am going to have to turn, because I am thinking that all these guys are launching their torpedoes. Unfortunately, that's going to mess up my... my solution, and especially the San Francisco. I would like to get some good hits in from her 8-inch guns. What's she firing right now? Armor piercing at the broadside of this enemy cruiser. Yeah, there come the enemy torpedoes. I think all ahead flank. There come even more torpedoes. We may have to detach the San Francisco and get her to turn. And we're going to get Oakland and Cabot to turn as well to avoid incoming torpedoes from the enemy. Oakland, if you wouldn't mind launching your torpedoes, that would be great. San Francisco turn, Oakland turn, and the Cabot is turning as well. The battleships have already turned away, but they can start taking the Chokai under fire, because that is coming relatively dangerously close. And I have not paid attention to the destroyers. Oops. There are... Oh, the Farragut might be getting into some torpedoes. Yes, the Farragut has taken 2 torpedo hits. Get your torpedoes away, lay smoke, and I think my inattention towards my destroyers might be causing me a bit of trouble. Get the torpedoes away in that regard, please, if you can. Let's see if we can get the destroyers out of here. The Farragut has taken torpedoes and she is flooding. And while she is trying to engage the enemy still, can we thread the needle here? Yep, she is launching torpedoes, unfortunately at the cruisers, which is not what I was hoping for. Friendly torpedo group. Okay, Oakland need to turn. And I think the destroyer group needs to get out of here. Farragut is sailing in circles. I'm gonna get the destroyers to retreat. because they've both taken damage, and I am going to have to keep looking after the rest of the group here. I think we have mostly evaded, yes, we have mostly evaded the torpedoes. So Oakland and Cabot. Okay, please don't collide with each other. I'm trying to avoid torpedoes here. Hard turn, both of you. But yeah, unfortunately the two of them have collided while trying to avoid torpedoes. That is going to cause some damage, but we're going to get the Cabot and the Oakland forming up again. And meanwhile, the battleships have managed to. Where are my destroyers still going? I have told you to retreat, right? Yes, my destroyers are retreating. Where are my battleships? Here. So we've got the Pennsylvania and the Arizona taking on the Chokai, while the San Francisco needs to get back. And I am actually going to get the San Francisco to fall in with the two battleships. And I'm going to run the two light cruisers by myself. Try to send out torpedoes if you can. Oh, okay, something blew up here. I think we've landed a torpedo hit. Yes, we've landed a torpedo hit on the Aka, and the Aka is sinking. Perfect. So that's one down. Let's get the light cruisers back in the game to help out with the Chokai. And the San Francisco as well target the Chokai. Okay. And the light cruisers are going to pass in front of the battle group. The destroyers, the Little is still in decent shape, but the Farragut is not. So Little is going to escort Farragut out of the battle. And I think we have we've scored a torpedo detonation on the Chokai, so that's good. Sorry for the lack of cinematics. I'm just a little busy at the moment. Let's get the battleships to turn. And we're getting the cruisers to make a pass while targeting Chokai and just dropping torpedoes where they can. San Francisco is getting back in the game. They don't have smoke ready just now, so this is relatively risky, but they do need to screen the battleship line from incoming torpedoes, of which there are many. I think I'm seeing a lot of torpedoes coming in here. So if we can get ourselves a little better organized and out of the torpedo ranges of these ships, that would be great. And I am already getting the Cabot to do a hard turn to port to avoid these incoming torpedoes as well, and just to screen the battleships, while the San Francisco is joining up with the group. And there are the big ones coming in, but I think the Chokai is. The Chokai is trying to disengage and is getting bracketed viciously, but given that everyone is maneuvering, I think that's thrown off our accuracy quite a bit. So we got extremely lucky here that the battleship effectively detonated from the initial torpedo hits, and our destroyer group is retreating at still at good speed, but Farragut has taken on a lot of water in the bow section, and is her whole forward section is flooded after the torpedo hit. So these two need to get out of here. Okay, light cruisers are now lining up behind the battleships for more screening duty, which means we are going to switch off the torpedoes for now while they are reloading, and the battle group is circling the enemy heavy cruiser. Okay, San Francisco is falling in. Light cruisers are getting a little far away now, so they can get back into screening positions, and we do need to close in more. The Japanese have lost both the Aka and the Chokai, which I think just leaves most of their destroyer screen. We'll try to hunt them a little bit and see if we can, especially if the light cruisers can catch up with them, while the San Francisco is guarding the two heavies. But I think so far mostly due to our torpedo, due to the torpedo action early on from the destroyers and the light forces. That has really thrown the Japanese off, and it looks like they are trying to retreat. I would love to catch these enemy battle cruisers, but they're obviously going to be significantly faster than the than my own heavy forces. We have reacquired the main force, so we are getting the light cruisers closing into the enemy destroyers, and the Cabot and the Oakland, the scout cruisers rather, and we'll see if they can land a couple of gun hits with their 6-inchers, while the 2 battle cruisers are going to be engaged by the by the capital ships. So let's see if we can manage to get in a little closer. We just have to be very, very careful with lots of torpedoes coming in here, and see if the light cruisers can get into a range where they can start actually doing some damage to the destroyers. Yep, there are enemy torpedoes incoming, and we will try to sail between them and see if we can avoid most of them, as that is going to be a lot of torpedoes. That should be okay. Well, but the Oakland is following. So, oh, more torpedoes, hard to port. More torpedoes incoming. Cabot, hard to port. Ooh, that's a cross drop. That's oh, okay. The Cabot has taken a torpedo hit at the bow, and she is flooding. And there is a lot of more torpedoes coming in. I think trying to engage that destroyer group was probably a little too bold. We may have to retire here if we can get out of this alive. That is okay. Full speed ahead. Can she dodge? No, she's taken 2 more torpedo hits, and it looks like Oakland. Oh yeah, there come some fast torpedoes in. Oakland has taken 3 torpedo hits as well. Okay, the light cruiser group has definitely needs to retreat, smoke up, and see if we can get them out of there. And that means the heavy ships do have to retreat as well. We have underestimated the Japanese. We thought we had them on the run, but instead they have turned the tables on us, and they have reformed after the initial losses, given chase, and are now practicing their trademark engagements, and have saturated the area with torpedoes. I think the Cabot will be lost here, and I'm not sure the Oakland can survive that either. These Japanese destroyers had actually reformed properly. We'll get them to detach and see if they can retreat. But I think both of them have lost rudder control, and it'll be a question of can they actually disengage before being hit by even more torpedoes. And while the Pennsylvania and the Arizona and the San Francisco are still fully combat capable, I am not too confident without the light cruiser screens. Yeah, okay, another torpedo hit on the Cabot. I think that's going to be her. That's going to be it for her. And she is taking fire from the destroyers now as well. So both Cabot and Oakland are not in a good shape. Yeah, I thought the Japanese were way more disorganized at this point. And oh, there's a torpedo drop that might hit the Pennsylvania. Ooh, yes, but it was a dud. Okay, Pennsylvania got lucky there. And yes, I think we will disengage after that catastrophic miscalculation of the light cruisers against the enemy destroyer group. We'll try, of course, to give them as much fire support as we possibly can. But we can detach San Francisco, and she can speed up to 30 knots and see if she can help. If she can help defend these two light cruisers, and see if they can still make it out of there. But we'll definitely. Oh, another torpedo hit on the Oakland. I think they are pretty much dead in the water. Both have been given retreat orders. We'll send the San Francisco in at full speed and see if she can still make something happen. But yeah, underestimating the Japanese determination after that initial rout was a mistake. San Francisco, please take on the destroyers that are closest there and see if you can chase them off. Arizona and Pennsylvania do need to line up here, so I'm gonna get you to just guard this a little in the rear. The San Francisco is gonna rush to the aid of the light cruisers, but that was a lot of torpedoes. And while San Francisco's high explosive guns are powerful, I am not so certain if the Oakland and the Cabot can survive, because they are in terrifying shape. They're still giving battle, but Oakland's lost all 3 of her engines. Cabot might make it out, but there are more torpedoes incoming, and the destroyers have obviously smoked up again now, so San Francisco also does need to be careful. We'll try and see if we can draw some fire with her while the battle line is peppering them from long range. Yeah, that was a lot more destroyers than I thought, and they were way more organized than I thought. I was thinking that they would be basically on the run at this point. Against all odds, Oakland is still afloat, but she is very slow, and obviously no longer in the shape of giving battle. We'll see if San Francisco can draw some of the fire from the enemy ships and take out some of their destroyers and chase them off, while we get the Pennsylvania and Arizona close to the 2 cruisers. But I think the Japanese are disengaging at this point. They might have enough after that revenge that they've taken for the beating we have inflicted upon them. So they might be no longer interested in giving battle. I would love to get one of the destroyers at least, but there are so many of them. We could get a couple of them. Oh, we've got the Shimakaze, yeah, wall of skill, everybody. Okay, San Francisco is now drawing the fire, and we don't want to get too close, but she does need to. Against all odds, Cabot and Oakland are still afloat. American damage control, everybody. I mean, Cabot looks bad, but the Oakland is way worse for wear. We'll see if they can get out of there. Still drawing fire. But San Francisco should now take the majority of the hits at this point. There is still an enemy destroyer out there, so there might be more torpedoes in. San Francisco still can do a bit of damage, and maybe sink 1 or 2 of them. There's still a light cruiser out there. The cruisers are disengaging, and the battleships are staying very well at range, because we don't want to get close with those, especially once these destroyers have reloaded their torpedoes. It's mostly the San Francisco secondaries, I think, at this point, that are scoring the hits there. Can we target this one with the main guns, please? More torpedoes incoming. But I think these aren't actually terribly aimed. Okay, San Francisco needs to turn. Yes, she's got one. So there are definitely more torpedoes incoming. San Francisco hard to starboard. Just guard the light cruisers, and try not to go down. Try not to go down to torpedoes yourself. And I think the battleships probably They do have a decent solution actually. So we'll see if they can still manage to. Okay, wait. We have to make sure we'll drop speed to 15 knots. Let's make sure we're not actually hitting any of our colliding with any of our light cruisers. Okay, San Francisco, straighten her out. Battleships are targeting the Cutlery, I think, which is a light cruiser. So if they can land a couple of hits on her, that'd be good. But San Francisco, yeah, there's more torpedoes incoming. So San Francisco, I think it's probably about time we disengaged. The Oakland, we do have to cover the retreat, however. So the battle line does need to. Okay, we might have to turn the Pennsylvania around, such that she does not collide with the Oakland. Oakland has no steering. Retreat if you can, but we'll get the. Yeah, I don't think we can retreat, not without abandoning the light cruisers. So we will keep covering them with the San Francisco, and we get the battleships in as well, just to make sure that they can cover the retreat of these light cruisers. They are still targeting the light cruisers. They are trying to sink the Oakland, and I think if she takes one or two more hits, then she is going to be doomed. But we are turning the battle group around, and San Francisco is covering on the other side, trying to catch these destroyers over there unawares. It's not the best solution just yet. So now that we've got the big guns in the battle here, they can turn again, which is always throwing off their aim. But it's really just more about keeping them away and saving the light cruisers. And worst case, they take a couple of torpedoes. There's a lot of torpedoes coming in. That's a full spread of torpedoes. So Pennsylvania, hard to port, turn into the torpedoes, all ahead flank. I think the San Francisco has got a solution on the Yayoi. So let's get her to turn around and focus her fire on that ship. Let's see if she can take it down. Yeah, the Oakland has no longer has rudder control. Pennsylvania and Arizona might take a torpedo or two just to cover the cruisers. But as long as the cruisers don't get hit by more torpedoes, I think we're good. And is that a torpedo hit? No, that is not a torpedo hit. So I'm gonna. No, the cruisers still don't have rudder control. The Yayoi has been taken out by the San Francisco. So let's get the San Francisco to turn around. And I think we have mostly avoided the torpedoes. Yeah, Cabot does not have rudder control. So we've got more destroyers on the other side. They're skirting. They're like vultures at this point. Let's get San Francisco turned around, and the battleship line as well. Let's get them to join up and try to shield the cruisers as much as possible. The Cabot just has to pray that these torpedoes won't hit her, but I think she's in the clear. With the Oakland, I'm not so sure. I'm not sure how much speed she can still make. She does like 7 knots, I believe. So it's not. Yeah, 8.6 knots that's all she can do. So we'll get the battleships to cover them. And where's San Francisco? San Francisco is over here. Yeah, San Francisco is heading back as well. Can still engage with the rear turrets, and we'll see if we can slowly disengage while covering the cruisers with the battleships and with the San Francisco. We'll just keep turning. Yep, there are already more torpedoes in the water, but I think they were aimed at San Francisco's original course. Whew! I did not think we would our light cruisers were going to survive that. There is a single light cruiser, that's the Kateri, but she looks dead in the water. Maybe we can get the battleship's main guns trained on her and blow her out of the water. Let's get the main guns trained at the Kateri, while keep dodging them torpedoes. And San Francisco is... Okay, I think the light cruisers are clear. I am seeing the Oakland. Where did the Cabot... Okay, the Cabot is already clear. The Oakland is getting clear. But she's got severe flooding. And I am not sure if she's going to make it. I'm still not sure if she's going to make it. If she takes one more torpedo from that line here, then that's that. But maybe the pumps can work their miracles. Okay, let's get San Francisco to pass the battleship line. I'm not sure where these torpedoes are going, but I think we're safe from them. Okay, we'll see. We'll see if we can manage to get the cruisers to disengage. They both have spent at least the Cabot has spent all her torpedoes. I think the Oakland has not managed to. She has launched some torpedoes, but hasn't been really successful with that. So I will get we'll see if we can disengage, and we'll just while shielding the retreating cruisers with the battleships, and maybe we can still take out that light cruiser. That would be grand. Kateri, giving me a couple of good 14-inch hits should do the trick. I mean, she is stationary. Yep, like that. That was a good 14-inch hit. And I think she might be going down. Let's see. Yeah, I think the Kateri is sinking. Yeah, she's taking on water rapidly. That last battleship hit has done the trick, I think. Yeah, she's sinking. I think that's going to be the last enemy casualty of the battle. We'll try to disengage, keeping the cruisers safe, and San Francisco has managed to evade the torpedoes. She is going to drop speed to escort the stricken Oakland. And we're going to get the battleships to turn out as well. And that was that engagement. At the end of the day, the Cabot and the Oakland, against all odds, have managed to limp out of the battle area, and they will be returned to the dockyards in the Philippines for urgent repairs. San Francisco, Arizona, and Pennsylvania are pretty much unscathed. And the Japanese have lost the Ho-Oh to a very lucky torpedo hit at the rear magazine, which has ignited it. The two battle cruisers have escaped. They've lost both the Aka and the Chokai. Two of their light cruisers have gone down, and we have sunk 1, 2, 3 of the enemy destroyer group. Definitely have to be more careful with Japanese destroyers and not get ourselves dragged into a false sense of security. In terms of damage dealt, the Arizona is taking the lead with 39,000, followed by the Pennsylvania, San Francisco, and the Farragut. So the Farragut was the one who managed to land the torpedo hits. Yeah, 7 torpedo hits from the Farragut, and then followed by the Little. The two light cruisers have had a much harder time, but the battleships have definitely done their part of dealing the damage as we expected from them. And overall, I would say that was still a resounding victory for the United States Navy in the first ever engagement against an enemy battle fleet. And the Japanese probably will think twice before they try that again.